Good morning, beloveds. Okay. We've been in Holy Week all week, and honestly, I haven't even... Easter is the Sunday. Today is Good Friday. And I know this, and yet I still missed it. So, it's Good Friday. Okay, it is April 15th. Our title is Divine Guidance. The first quote is, "Thou shalt guide me with thy counsel, and afterwards receive me to glory." And that is Psalm 73:24. The great blessing of the Spirit pours through me now and protects me in all my ways. And that is from The Science of Mind, and that is page 257. A woman recently called our church ministry of prayer for help and related an amazing story. She said she had lived in Europe during World War II. Because her family was Jewish, they were constantly hiding from the Nazis. They did everything they could think of to avoid being caught and sent to a concentration camp. One day, they got together their meager amount of money and sent their daughter with it to the marketplace to get as much food for their family as possible. When she finally returned and they asked for the food, she stammered that she had seen a certain painting of the Madonna and Child and simply could not resist purchasing it with the money given her. The family was dumbfounded. As they stared at her in disbelief, she hung the picture on the wall. At that moment, they were startled by a knock at the door. It was the Gestapo, who shouted for them to open up and let them in. Once inside, the police said that they had heard that some Jews were living here. Then their eyes fell upon the painting, and they at once mumbled an apology, believing that Jews would never have such a painting in their home. And after the Gestapo left, the family embraced one another and wept tears of thanks for God's protection and guidance. I listen to the still small voice within me. It is the voice of truth guiding my every move, guiding me against all visible and invisible dangers. My divine intuition guides and guards me, and I respect it greatly. I act on my intuition, knowing that this is the way that God speaks to me. How great thou art! The Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? And that is RJ. I don't think we've read RJ before, so let's go find out who RJ is. Rainbow Johnson. We have. So, I mean, that's a heck of a story. And we all have heard stories like that. We all know stories like that where it's actually a huge plot in movies and TV shows. Because I remember that there's one in Doctor Who where it was literally a turn left or turn right. And it changed the course of not just the person's life, but the universe. And sometimes we do little things that don't make sense. And they turn out to be the most amazing thing that we have ever done in our lives. And when we do them, we think we're crazy, and we're not. That's divine guidance. When you hear any of the mystic stories, they sound crazy because there are no words, there is no language that can explain the experience that they have, and divine guidance can be very similar. That will be inspired to do something that doesn't make sense, to do something we've never done before, to buy something that we wouldn't have because it doesn't make sense in our culture, religion, gender, the rules is what I'm going to say. The rules that culture, religion, society has set up for us. But it could be the best thing that we have ever done. And it is about listening. It is about listening. And it is about the willingness to take a step that doesn't make sense. Because oftentimes that's exactly what it is. In this story, a Jewish child bought a Christian painting that saved her family's life. And it doesn't make sense. And yet, there it was. I saw a quote from Hafiz this morning about blessing every church, every temple, every mosque, it's loving every church, every temple, every mosque, because the people are all in there chanting the various names of the one God. And that's kind of that same thing. It's like, we all have the one source. And so sometimes we're guided to do things that don't make sense per the rules that we have been taught. But God doesn't play by those rules. Those are society's rules and religion's rules and cultural rules. And God doesn't play by those rules. Ever. You know? So God will guide you to do things that will make you go, what? You know? So I would encourage you to be willing to take steps that don't make sense, to do things that look crazy, and see where it takes you, because Spirit is going to guide your steps always, especially when you're willing. And Spirit will take you on some of the greatest adventures, and Spirit will also take you into the greatest amount of safety. So everybody doesn't want a great adventure. I mean, at some point in our lives we do, but sometimes what we need is just to be safe, and Spirit can do both. All right. Since that is one story, I'm not going to pull that apart. I'm just going to let this one go, but I am going to remind you the title is Divine Guidance. Thou shalt guide me with thy counsel, and afterwards receive me to glory. That is Psalm 73, line 24. As always, I do encourage you to go and read the whole psalm. The second one is the greatest blessing of Spirit pours through me now and protects me in all my ways. That is the point of divine guidance. Divine guidance can lead us into amazing and great adventures, but it will also keep us safe as it takes us through those great adventures. Sometimes we want a great adventure. Sometimes we want to sit back in the safety and the comfort of our home. Well, in this story, they wanted to sit back in the safety and comfort of their home, and all it took was buying one painting that made no sense for them to have. So, if we trust the crazy instinct, if we trust, because sometimes ego says, to be safe, you must do this. And Spirit says, to be safe, you need to do this. And this looks like jumping off a cliff. But we can always be the fool, because the hand of God will always catch the fool when the fool takes the leap. Jesse's been working through the hero's journey, which is laid out in the major arcana of the tarot, if that's where you're wondering where the fool came from. So I'm going to go back through Rainbow Johnson's treatment. I listen to the still small voice within me. It is the voice of truth guiding my every move, guarding me against all visible and invisible dangers. My divine intuition guides and guards me, and I respect it greatly. I act on my intuition, knowing that this is the way God speaks to me. And the question is, how do we tell the difference between ego and intuition? Remember that ego has one job, and it's to keep you safe. And intuition is always going to guide you, but it will never do it at the expense of someone else. And that is how you can tell the difference between ego and intuition. Ego has a job. At no time do we ever say that ego is bad, evil, and wrong. Ego has a job. It's just not allowed to be in the driver's seat. Intuition, on the other hand, if you want to know if God is speaking to you, look at who it benefits. And as long as it harms no one, including yourself, that's God speaking. Anytime somebody says, that's my qualifier. When somebody says that I am speaking the word of God, then I'm going to look. I'm going to see, who does it benefit and who does it hurt? And if it hurts absolutely anyone, that's not God speaking. So, how great thou art! The Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? All right, Rainbow Johnson, that is fantastic. So, what? Okay, the cats next to me are jockeying for position. The mission today, should we choose to accept it? You know what? The mission today, should we choose to accept it, I think is to embrace our family. It's Holy Week. And it's Holy Week in 3 different faiths, because it's Ramadan. We're coming up on Seder, and it's Easter. So let's embrace our family. And when I say our family, I mean our whole family. The entire human race. And we can use divine guidance to do that. So, that's the mission for today. As we walk through this Holy Week together to embrace our family in all of their wonderful celebrations and traditions. I don't know what I did with my bookmark, so there's that. The other thing I'm going to encourage you is the spiritual practice of doing something loving for yourself, doing something kind for yourself, doing something compassionate for yourself, whatever it looks like. First one I always suggest, 3 deep breaths, because sometimes if we can take at least 1 deep breath before we speak, we can go a long way to heading off some disasters for ourselves and others. So 3 deep breaths. It's very calming. Savor that cup of coffee. Use all 5 senses to drink it. Take a nap, take a walk, whatever it is that is loving, kind, and compassionate for yourself. If you practice on yourself, you can do it for anybody. But more importantly than that, you deserve your own love, your own kindness, your own compassion. You're a beloved child of God. So create that habit, create that default setting, create that first response. All right. As always, I do encourage you to do something to engage your mind and your body, whatever that looks like today. My brain is shorting out. It's like I say these every day, and now engage your mind and your body. Face full of sun, because there is no sun. We're in for another round of rain. So get some bright light first thing in your day. Drink plenty of water and open the windows of your soul. Allow the breath of heaven to remind you, you do live in heaven right here, right now. Oh, and I am right there with you, Michael. Sometimes we got to breathe deep before we embrace our family. Open the windows of your soul. Allow the breath of heaven to remind you, you do live in heaven right here, right now. It's all around you, all the time. Best way to find it is what Emma says. Look for the good and praise it. All right, beloveds. I'm a hot mess this morning. I just got to get through today. It is Good Friday. Take care of yourselves. Have a great day, an amazing day, a wondrous day, a fantastic day, an enchanting day, a magical day, a Good Friday. Whatever that looks like to you. I was raised Catholic. It meant fish. So, which I hadn't thought about until right now. So, yep. Know that you're loved. Always. Know that we are here on the social medias for you. Know that I will be back with you at 9 a.m. Reverend David will be on around 5 p.m. And we will have a pretty fantastic Easter service for you coming up Sunday. But at this point, I think I'm going to go finish breakfast because my brain is scrambled. But take care of yourself. Know that you're loved. And I will see you next time.